Over the past 2 decades, small island developing states (SIDS) have been the topic of discussion in international fora. First recognized as a distinct group of developing countries at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development in June 1992, small island developing states face specific social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities. As such, the United Nations declared 2014 the International Year of Small Island Developing States with an aim to increase awareness and alleviate these challenges. In this regard, GIS News met with Honorable Minister for Environment, Dr. Kenneth Daru, to review the Year of SIDS 2014. Honorable Daru answers the question that many may have asked: why the focus on small island developing states?
With the advent, or as I said, the peaking of the discussion of climate change, we know that small island developing states would have the special vulnerabilities. Of course, the fact that they are completely surrounded by water in itself would pose quite a challenge, especially the lower lying ones. And we can talk about the Pacific SIDS, where even with rising sea levels, that some of them would already be disappearing. Some coastlines and even some islands have already started disappearing, literally disappearing. Also with the small fragile economies of small island states, that itself would pose a challenge. So coupled with the advent of climate change, we would already be exposed to these natural disasters being more erratic, more intense, more frequent, and on our small fragile economies, meaning our inability to deal with these challenges.
Small island developing states are divided into 3 categories: Caribbean, Pacific, and African and Indian Ocean SIDS. In light of the growing concerns centering on climate change and energy efficiency, Honorable Dr. Daru is confident that the focus on SIDS has directly impacted countries like Dominica. Throughout the year, Dominica has actively and passionately added its voice to attenuating these plights of Caribbean SIDS. He believes that pertinent issues are brought to the international table, particularly as it relates to climate change resilience.
But I think slowly but surely over the past decade or so, the more developed countries would have realized or begin to accept their responsibility, especially as it pertains to the anthropogenic contribution to climate change, because clearly the whole effect of climate change is because of human activity, because of the greenhouse gas emission. And if we look at the emissions of the total small island states worldwide, I mean, it doesn't add up to any measurable fraction of what one developed country such as the United States or any of the European developed countries would emit on any given day. So the small island states have, I think, made quite a case for themselves in letting the more developed countries know that, hey, whatever is happening now as it pertains to climate change, etc., is not our fault. Okay, a lot of it has to do with your actions, and we think that that you should right now step up to the plate, and I'm very confident that this trend will continue.
A highlight of SIDS 2014 was the signing of the historic SIDS Doc, a Sustainable Energy and Climate Resilience Treaty, at the 3rd International United Nations Conference on SIDS in Samoa. This conference, held every decade, was attended by a Dominican delegation headed by the Honorable Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru. SIDS Doc is the linking agent between the energy sectors in 31 small island developing states and the global finance market. The establishment of a Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CCRE, is the latest in green energy pursuits for the region and is in keeping with government's strategic program for climate resilience under the Growth and Social Protection Strategy.
This, for me, is a major initiative, and for SIDS Doc, it is part of our strategic plan to move out to our membership, especially through the regions, and to bring the activities closer to the members. The Regional Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Center could help to create within the Caribbean the capacity that we need to transform the energy sector, to move away from the old fossil fuel into clean renewable energy that will reduce the cost of electricity for our people.
Earlier that year, a memorandum of understanding was signed for the establishment and first operational phase for renewable energy and energy efficiency centers in the Caribbean by His Excellency Dr. Vince Henderson, Dominica's ambassador to the United Nations, who also chairs the SIDS DOC Steering Committee. This strategy, endorsed by the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit on the 11th of April 2012, works to facilitate Dominica's transformation to a low-carbon, climate-resilient economy while addressing pressing development, livelihood and poverty issues confronting the country. The focus on SIDS also saw Dominica's progress in the development of its geothermal resource. The then Honorable Minister for Energy, Rayburn Blackmore, says this will be the greatest legacy the Dominica Labour Party administration will leave in the spirit of reaching energy independence in Dominica.
I believe what we're doing right now in geothermal development is going to transform this country and create the platform for the emergence of a new Dominica. Mr. Speaker, let's look at the energy situation in this country. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, 66% of our energy matrix come from diesel. Another 44% come from hydro. Now, we are going to see the emergence of a new Dominica when Dominica shall become, and we're well on our way to achieving that reality, Mr. Speaker, to becoming the first country to be a net exporter of energy, more so a net exporter of geothermal energy. The first country. That is commendable.
Honorable Blackmore was addressing the House of Parliament on July 29, 2014. Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, who is also Minister for Health, says these achievements have resulted in increased global and local awareness on the plight of SIDS. The United Nations has also placed significant emphasis on curbing the spread of chronic, non-communicable diseases, encouraging greater government action. According to the Honorable Minister, over that period, his administration has increased public health and environment awareness, educating the public, youth and adults alike. Honorable Dr. Daru says the organization of SIDS should not go unnoticed.
We have this AOC subgroup in the United Nations Alliance of Small Island States, and even the Caribbean states such as Grenada took a leadership role for this grouping for a number of years, especially during the issues and forum conferences of climate change. And I must commend the former Minister of Grenada, I think the Honorable Carl Hood, who's no longer a minister, but he gave great leadership in putting the case of small island states forward.
According to the Honorable Minister, during the past year, SIDS have made tremendous strides in the realization and implementation of plans such as the Green Fund and the Climate Resilience Project. Currently, as a result of ongoing efforts for climate change resilience, a team from the World Bank is on island to commence the implementation of a $103 million pilot program in Dominica. He is confident that small island developing states can look forward to a lot more development in 2015 and years to come.